Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash. And I want to say Shalom, Waknakwath out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. This one's titled, The GMS Brothers Have Been Talking About This for Years. And in parentheses, remote deactivation, right? Remote deactivation. And this comes from Reddit, which the Reddit comes from Instagram. And it's something that was, I was scrolling and I ended up finding, and I thought was a little bit interesting, being that the fact that the GMS brothers have been talking about this for years. Now, I'm not a part of GMS. That's who I watch. All right. I don't feel like I have enough say so to call myself an affiliate. I feel like that's something that they would have to call me. But by a technical standpoint, by definition, I would be considered an affiliate. I'm not going to necessarily call myself that because I feel like that's a title that needs to be put on me by those brothers. But if you want the truth, GMS is the one that's got it. All right. That's where, I learned from. I recommend you do the same. And, there's a lot of things that these brothers, all right, and elders and apostles, all right, the apostles on down have been teaching for years, and nobody really, heeds or gives ear to. But they end up coming to pass. And this is when I saw this, I said, there we go, man. There we go. And this is the type of thing that a lot of people would scoff and mock at and say, oh, no, why would they ever do something so ridiculous? Why would they ever do something like that? That doesn't make any sense. And the brothers will say it and say, hey, for this reason, X, Y, and Z. And they'll say, no, they just wouldn't do that until, they do that. And the brothers are right. Then you don't want to hear it, right? Or that's when you usually fucking saddle in, strap yourselves in, and get fucking scared. All right, like the pandemic, because the brothers were talking about it, plagues and all these different things. And y'all know that ain't going to happen. Everybody, it was all quiet on the Western Front during the pandemic. There wasn't many scoffers during the pandemic, if you brothers were around for that. There wasn't many scoffers during the pandemic. A lot of them were just fucking quiet. They were listening in the background, shutting up, because they were afraid. They were shaking in their boots, man. So, yeah, this is another thing, man, that the GMS brothers have been talking about for years. All right, and now, of course, we're not seeing it en masse, all right, but we're seeing a form of it to show you that they really do have this power to just do this shit, right? So without any further ado, I'm going to go over here. Now, we're really going to go ahead and play these videos off the Instagram. Now, it's from this guy, Blue Huey 313, or Big Huey, 313. I guess he's a aspiring rapper out of Dallas. I don't know if he's aspiring or if he's just been big. I've never heard of him. He could just be local, big local. But yeah, he's got a couple things. And he's got this here. And it seems his whole page is talking about this Cybertruck record, right, that he made, that he dropped. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the video. Matter of fact, I'll just reopen this and where do we want to play? I'll play it here. All right, I'll play it here on Reddit. I'll full screen it so you guys can see it. Now, the title of this post is, let's go ahead and deactivate here. Looks like a good spot. Now, you can see on the screen it says, Tesla Cybertruck deactivated. Critical issue detected. Contact customer service. Comply with system to cease to reactivate. Now, even if this comes out to be something that was fake, all right, cool, whatever. All right, I'll admit that I was wrong. All right, but the fact of the matter still stands that they can very well do something like this. Okay, they can very well do something like this. You got to realize all these cars nowadays have computers in them. They usually have some type of contact with the new EVs, the electrical vehicles. The electric vehicles, they have some type of contact, with some system. All right. For example, a lot of cars have stuff like AARP or OnStar or different things like that where they can detect certain things and do certain things when there's certain things in the car. And who's to say they don't have anything that could remotely deactivate these vehicles? Okay, now this is cyber. Now, even if this is fake, you don't think they have some technology where they could, all right, where they could deactivate? As a matter of fact, we can go look up. Let's see, Tesla deactivated. Now, we don't see much about it, all right, but it's probably something that they can do. All right, not to say that this is 100% real, because it could be fake. All right, could be real, could be fake. But at the end of the day, they have technology like this regardless. All right, where they could deactivate your shit. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and play it. All right, and you can go ahead and see it. And if anything else, it serves an instruction, a well-made replica of what could potentially happen if it is fake. All right, but this is stuff that they could do. All right, remember that if this turns out to be fake, which it could be, this is still an example of something that they could do. And the brothers have been talking about this for years. So even if this is fake, just keep waiting just a little bit longer, and you'll start seeing these vehicles get deactivated, man, for real. All right, might not look exactly like this. It'll happen.
Traffic, bro. Would you look at this shit, bro? Look, I can't. Everything is locked. Cybertruck deactivated. Look at this shit, bro. Cars all on the side of me, bro. What the fuck? Bro, I gotta call Tesla, bro. What the fuck? Bro, like, what the fuck? I can't move the car, bro. I'm stranded as fuck. Hell no, man.
So, who knows? Could be fake, could be real. You never know. But we'll go ahead and read some comments. And you know, this is one that's quite interesting as well. He got a this. Now it says this is a cease and desist. All right, allegedly.
Bruh, after my Cybertruck got deactivated, bro, they just stranded me. I go home and check the mail. Look what the fuck I got in the mail, bro. Read this shit, dog. Like, this gotta be some type of illegal, bro. Like, what the fuck?
I think I got it paused. It says, cease and desist, unauthorized use of Tesla intellectual property, Cybertruck references and musical something. It says, we represent Tesla, and we're writing you formally to formally address the unauthorized use of Tesla's intellectual property and musical content distributed under your name. Specifically, this concerns your use of the something Cybertruck name and imagery in one or more songs, including but not limited to the track titled Cybertruck. And he puts his VIN there and stuff, and it looks not convincing, because I mean, Kodak Black had a song called Cybertruck. All right, but again, I guess he didn't have a Cybertruck. But let's see, let's go look up Dina Skin. I've seen many fake posts by social media influencers, celebrities. At this point, I have to ask, does anybody have a source or verification that is actually true? Not that I necessarily don't believe this. I would absolutely be on par for course of Elon. I just would like to see a more credible source than the threads of a post of a rapper. The cease and desist letter in the threads comments look like it's AI generated. It says, note that the person who signed it, Dean Eskin, is on LinkedIn. I have mutuals, and they've been the VP of legal for 11 months now. Previously senior director of legal, and this was sent 10 days ago. People like that usually don't make this type of mistake in their correspondence. That it very well could be AI. Many legal offices are using LLMs these days. I think it's limited learning models or something like that. Language learning models, something like that. It says, what is the alternative here? Rapper went in an effort to publish an MV and figured out how to display a fake disabled message in the vehicle. Fake the cease and desist, knowing that these actions would give Tesla a very legitimate claim against them. Occam's razor is not favorable to the alternative. It's true. If it was fake, then they could be facing a lawsuit for slander. So it's just, 50 on 50 on it being fake. Me too. I'm kind of like 50-50. But regardless, I still want to make a lesson on it, because this is some very real shit that could happen. Okay? They could remote deactivate. Okay?
The fuck?
You see it.
Nigga, I'm in the middle of traffic, bro. Would you look at this shit, bro? Look, I can't. Everything is locked. Cybertruck deactivated. Look at this shit, bro. Cars all on the side of me, bro. What the fuck?
So, and could be some, could be nothing. But anyway, at the end of the day, regardless if he's clout chasing or what, you know, um, this is some very real shit that can and could happen. Now, when I was seeing this, it really reminded me of a movie I watched, and I actually made a lesson on this like 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, 2023. And it was called Leave the World Behind. And there was a scene where they're all on autopilot crashing into to each other. So, they're obviously being controlled remotely, all right? Or, they're pinging off some server that's telling them to do something. Hey, you need to get here. So regardless, someone's not fucking taking over it with a remote, all right? Now, that's probably something that could be happening, but they probably have things coded in them where if they put some code out there, hey, all these need to return, or all these need to shut down, or all these need to go here, that's something that very well could happen, man. Something that very well could happen. So this was an interesting clip I want to show you. Of course, I'm allowed to use this under fair use. I'm not making any money off these videos. I never do, never want to. These are all just for religious instruction. So I'm allowed to use this for critique, comment. It is allowed under United States law. All right. So, which I believe YouTube is operated out of. So don't try to take the video down or anything goofy. So here you go. Go ahead and watch this.
Okay. You see anyone?
There's nobody here.
Hey, someone's coming. Yo!
Goes the safety features. Full self-driving capability. Navigate on autopilot, automatic driving, auto lane change, auto park, summon. Your car will find you in a parking lot. Traffic light and stop sign control, assisted stop. So you can see autopilot. What does autopilot mean? What is autopilot? And me and my wife actually, when we went to Utah, like last year, May or March of last year, we actually we didn't drive a Tesla, but we drove a Kia Soul that has a lot of those same features. She just had to touch it every once in a while to to keep it going, and it was an interesting vehicle. All right, and it did lane switch and all that stuff. It was fucking weird. It was crazy, man. We had to adjust some things on it because it was weird. Like it would it would shut down when you were stopped in traffic to save. It was weird. It was weird. But what is autopilot? All right, definition. Short for automatic pilot. What is an automatic pilot? It says a device for keeping an aircraft or other vehicle on a set course without the intervention of the pilot. Okay, so able to control itself without any further input. So here you go.
Clay, get in the car!
Oh, wait, should we wait and talk to him?
Get in the fucking car right now!
All right. What are you doing? Should we flag them down? Maybe they know something.
There's no one in that car!
Mom, on your left, this car. Go.
You see it. There's a whole bunch of them, man. A whole bunch. Some of the comments on here. Instead of getting out of the road, dodge the Teslas. Says, this is what the media was warning about. If we trust autopilot, we are dead meat. How we all feel about the scene now. Just waiting for it at this point. Let's see. People talking about it. So this movie is made by a president of the United States. Was it? I doubt it. Is that supposed to be synonymous? Is that supposed to be reference to something? Who directed this movie? No. Sam Ismail. Never really heard of him. But it was an alright movie. A lot of people didn't like it. But it was alright. It wasn't the best movie ever. It was kind of corny, but it was a lot of spiritual stuff in it. you know. But that, if you haven't seen it, I recommend watching it. I think a lot of brothers did a lesson on it at the time. Deal with nuclear war. All right. It says, as they attempt to make sense of the gradual breakdown of phones, television, and other regularly used technology, which points to a potential cataclysm. All right. I don't remember too much about it, but post-apocalyptic movie about all the technology shutting down, and it's gonna happen. There's gonna be a complete blackout. People don't want to believe it. People don't want to think about it, but that's the type of stuff that does happen. So let's see what people say. It says, damn, I hate when my car has a failed OTA update and completely bricks in the middle of driving on a highway, is what I would say if that happened to me. It says, it's funny as fuck, it seems, because he made a cyberpunk song, they deactivated the car, terms of service and such. You know, let's see. It says, I can't believe that Tesla is currently a penny stock. No. So some think it's fake, but I think Musk is just that much of a baby. It could be. You just really don't know. You really just don't know. It's not like I'm in the mix with everybody. They're saying it could be fake. It could be real. I don't know. I don't expect anything more than Elon, right? So what else? It says, either this is galactic scale karma or some kind of 4D chess viral marketing. It's true. It could either be some crazy, really in-depth marketing stunt, or it's, not karma, but it could be, him getting what he got. You dumbass bought a fucking Cybertruck, and now you get what you got. Let's see. What a pile of wank. It says they could have fucking killed him over a cease and desist. What the actual fuck? Is this real? It's fucking insane. How is this not everywhere? The fact that I can't tell is telling. It's true. The fact that we can't tell if this is fake or real shows you how much of a real world scenario type shit this could potentially be. And the GMS brothers have been talking about this for years. Okay, this type of style of shit. Remote deactivation, man. They could shut our computers down. Boom. You're not gonna believe it, but pretty much if you talk to any brother here, I know I can attest for it. We've had our computers and phones fucking personally messed with, man. Acting up like just, it'll be fine all day. We go to do a lesson, now the page don't want to load all of a sudden, right? It was loading just before the lesson. It was loading after the lesson. Just during the lesson, it don't want to load, okay? Or the phone glitches out, or your phone has been, your computer's been good and it decides to shut down. You got to restart it, or it lost your progress, or weird shit, man. The audio, you see it with the apostles a lot. The audio will get fucked with on live streams. It'll just get fucked with. All of a sudden, here it is, it's all fine, and halfway through, during the most important part, not that any other part of the lesson isn't important, but they'll be talking about something real deep, and then it's all silent. This is the type of stuff that they do, man. They're capable of doing it, okay? And they haven't done it on a wide stream, right? But when the time comes, all right, when the going gets going, and you're trying to leave or go somewhere you're not supposed to be, boom, they can shut that shit down, all right? And they said, oh, you need to get an EV, be better for the environment, go and do all this, getting this and this and this, and you trusted them. That's why you're not supposed to trust in this devil, man, ever. You went and you thought that it's gonna be cheaper gas, I won't have to pay for gas no more. But then you look at the prices that it costs for a supercharger. There's just a charge in general. You can charge it at your home over fucking 38 hours and get, maybe a half battery. All right. But you need a supercharger to get it charged up quick. You basically still got to go to a gas station, man. Unless you can start a supercharger at your house. Okay. And I think there's rules on that. I think if you install a supercharger, that other people have to be allowed to use it or something. I don't remember the fucking rule. I don't really care about the rule at the end of the day, but there's weird things. So most people end up going to a supercharger. Hell, where I live, probably like 10-ish minutes from here, over in a shopping center, they have a supercharge station. I see all these dumb motherfuckers out there charging their Teslas, just sitting around, charging their Teslas. All right? It's ridiculous, man. It's like a little fucking gaggle, like a little gang. They're all out there. Sometimes I see them like standing outside their car. I think I see them talking to each other and shit. Like it's a little club, Ridiculous, man. And they all trusted and got really fucked, man. They all now they have to pay more. It's more to fill up your fucking to charge up your battery a lot of the time than it is for gas. All right. So, and then these Teslas have all sorts of fucking issues with them, right? And then apparently now they may or may not be able to fucking remotely deactivate your shit. As far as we know, they can still remotely deactivate your shit. As far as we know, as far as what we can see, they may or may not be able to. But we know there's something deep down inside that they can, you know, if they wanted to turn this computer off right now, you don't think they have anything that could do it? Of course they could. They could turn it off, right? So you think that a computer that's inside a Tesla, it's still a fucking computer, all right? It's not running Windows or anything, all right? But it's a computer that's inside there. You don't think that motherfucker has any capabilities ever, all right? This is hooked up to Wi-Fi. You don't think that can hook up to, you know, either passive, all right, off the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth in your car, or, you know, you can watch Netflix on that motherfucker, which means it has some type of internet connectivity. So you don't think they could shut that shit down? If you don't think they could, regardless if you believe that this was real or not, because I'm 50-50 on it as well, but if you don't think they can shut your shit down, then that's a completely different level of hubris, because they can shut your shit down quick, right? And you wouldn't even know it. You just get in your car, oh, well, I want my shit turn on. Oh no, I can't get nowhere. And you motherfuckers over there saying, see, that's why I didn't buy one of those motherfuckers. See, you probably got a car that's from 2015. You don't think they can't shut that motherfucker down too? You don't think they can't shut that shit down? Unless you got a car from the 80s, all right, where before it had EEC, is it EEC, EMC? What are those things called? ECM? Yeah. Engine control unit. Okay, no, that's not it. ECU. Like the modern ECU though, the modern ones. Not the early systems. Motor. We're talking about like the modern ones. Yeah, the ECM. It's basically the ECM. Or the PCM. Or the Powertrain Control Module. PCM. The same thing. PCM. Multiple computers. When PCMs. When did PCMs vehicles yeah, right here. So it says, starting in the early 1990s, automobile function, particularly the engine and powertrain, were integrated with controls processed by an onboard computer. So, yeah, it started happening in 1996 because the PCMX, the independent unit, manages all the car's systems. Oh yeah, not the EMC, right? ECU, all right, but the PCM, or, you know. So any with those, all right, they probably have a way to remote deactivate all these vehicles. So if you know, late 90s and mid 90s, I don't know, early use of them, but I guess they had them in the 70s and early 80s, and of course they became more popularized in the 90s. But you know, they probably have a way to deactivate those motherfuckers. So unless you're driving a car from like the early, you know, mid 70s, they could probably shut your shit down. Okay, they can probably shut your shit down, because remember, if you go to AutoZone or any of those places, they run a fucking like a reader. All right, they hook that shit up to your car and it pulls all the codes and shit. So there's something that's, you know, interpreting data from your vehicle, and it's able to store that and push it out into that reader. So that's a computer-based system, right? They wouldn't be able to do that with a car from 1950s, right? That's something new. So it's probably that PCM. So, you know, they can probably remote. It's probably not, they probably can't have as much physical control as, you know, with these Teslas. They probably can't remote drive your shit. All right. But they can probably do some shit where they fuck with some stuff, more than likely. So, and another thing you got to realize is, being that it is at the end of the day, a computer, if an EMP goes off, which is an electromagnetic pulse, that shit will fry your vehicle. All right, might not be able to do that with a 60s vehicle or 70s vehicle because they don't really have anything that's, well, I mean, yeah, actually, because a lot of the, well, it depends. Like computer system, I don't know if that would necessarily mess with an ignition. I guess it would depend on the type of ignition. Let's ask. I'll ask ChatGPT. What vehicles would not be affected by an EMP? Pre-1970s. There you go. Pre-1970s. Why they have little to no electronic components. Classic cars with carbureted engines, mechanical ignitions. Mechanical, okay. So, a lot of them are electric now, and they create a spark. It says, example, points and conditions instead of electronic ignition. It says, early diesel vehicles without electronic conduit controls, ECAs. Older diesel vehicles, especially before the 1990s, use mechanical fuel injection and don't require spark ignition or complex electronics. Military vehicles, some are designed to resist EMPs. On these military trucks, bicycles, scooters, animal patrol, obviously. Vehicles likely affected by an EMP. Any modern car post 90s, anything with electronic fuel injection, ECUs, TCMs, advanced driver assistance system, ADAS, like stuff like ABS, probably like automatic auto braking systems and stuff. You'll probably your braking be all fucked up. Onboard computers and sensors. So all these different things. Okay. So a lot of people, man, their cars were just shut down. So again, you can't trust these devils not to do something like that. So segueing into Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10, it says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." If you leave rust on something, it's only going to get worse. Okay, it's not going to get better. It's going to continue to eat away and eat away and eat away and eat away until there ain't no motherfucking metal left on that bitch. All right, it's just going to be a big ass hole. All right. If you ever had, we had a truck one time. I can't remember if it was my truck or not. I don't know if that's the same one my dad gave me or not. But there was one truck we had that right above the back tire. There was rust on truck. Right above the back tire was eating a fucking hole in that bitch, man. Let's see. Yeah, right over there. It was kind of like that, really. But let me see. Yeah, kind of like this. Very similar, actually, pretty much. So, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And it will eventually just end up, doing that, where that motherfucker will just fall off. It will just come off. This is just not as bad. But, that rust will eventually just peel. It'll just peel all that shit off, and you won't have no truck, man. It'll just be crumbling away. It'll keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So, you got the siding of your vehicle falling off and shit. So, that's what happens. So, it's the same way, like it says, for like his iron rusted, so is his wickedness. So his wickedness just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. It's not going to get better. It's not going to stop. Okay, he's not going to say, oh, you know what, I was being really, really out of control there. I should have never done that and just stop. No, it's only going to get worse, man. All right. So, again, if you don't think they can remote deactivate your vehicle, then I don't know what level you're on, but I don't want to be anywhere near it because you got some severe intellectual disabilities going on because you're not thinking, right? They can do anything, man. They can tap into our cameras at any time, and even if you cover the camera up, they can tap into your microphone, all right? And your phone's got a microphone, your phone's got a camera, and I know you ain't covering that shit up. You cover the one up on your laptop up, but you ain't covering the one on your phone up. That shit, you gotta use that to open your phone up. Well, I don't use that. I use the pen pad. Cool. Even if you use the pen pad, you don't think that shit's still scanning your face? You're looking at the motherfucker. You're looking at the screen. You don't think it's looking at you, looking at that screen? And it's got audio in it. All right? It's got all these different things in it. Okay? Your TVs have microphones in it. Right? Your phones have microphone system. That's why people, I got a Google, all right, a Google Home, so I can tell it to turn on my lights and all that stuff. And or ask it the weather and stuff. And people, people are like, oh, I don't want that in my home. Listen to me. What you don't fucking think? don't think your iPad, do you have an iPad? Yeah. Do you have an iPhone? Yeah. Do you have got any phone at all? Yeah. You got a watch, a smartwatch? You don't think that motherfucker's listening to you? It all has audio. You don't think they're listening? They're always listening, man. They're always listening. That's why if you keep on talking about something on your phone, it will come up. All right? It will come up, you know? The other day, I made a fucking joke about spooky dookie because I guess it's some phrase that goes around. People say it now. And, I mentioned it in a text to my girl. And, I'll be damned if I open up Instagram and one of the Instagram reels there, or was it YouTube? It said something about a spooky dookie. I said, now what the fuck? And that's happened plenty of times. If you talk about dog food a bunch, you will get ads for dog food. All right. There's times where I've talked about my girl is not really a nerd at all, right? She doesn't really even play games like that, just like the standard girl games like Sims, right? But what I can't remember. It was some game I was talking about over and over and over again, and and that ended up fucking coming up on her screen. She said, "Look what you've done." Or, there was a time I was talking about a Steam Deck all the time, which is a little gaming device, and I ended up actually getting one. Call all you Howbash Meow Shy for being able to have one of those. Blessed to be able to have the items that we do have. But before I ended up getting one, I talked about it, I think. I'd mentioned, the Steam Deck and stuff like that, but, she's not really into that stuff, so she didn't know, but she was getting an ad for one, and she was like, oh, I think I might buy him one, but she didn't know. She thought that it sounded too good to be true, like, play PC games on the go. So she thought it was like a lie, so she ended up not buying it. And I ended up buying one eventually, and she says, what was that, Steam Deck? She says, I have something to admit. She says, I saw an ad for one of those, and I thought it was fake. And I said, oh, well, you're all good, but damn, But, that's not something she'd be interested in, a Steam Deck. That's not something she'd ever be interested in, right? But how did they know, right? Because our phones were together, or it heard me say something to her about the Steam Deck, all right, or our phones being in connectivity too close together. There's motherfuckers that go to the same gym that I go to, right? These same motherfuckers. I don't know these people, right? They're just around me, and I've seen them. They will literally pop up on my fucking Instagram. They will pop up on my Facebook, and I only have a Facebook account for one reason, and one reason only, because my dad is stuck on Facebook, and that's the way he prefers to contact. If it wasn't for him, I'd just deactivate my shit, all right? And I already have it blocked out. I got a fake last name on there. I got no profile picture of myself. There's some photos on me, but they're all photos I've been tagged in, and they're only really ones I've allowed my grandma to keep. All right, the other ones that old friends I had, I untagged myself from all those motherfuckers, unfriended them and all that shit. But it's just family members at the end of the day. And so they know me because of just my first name, and on my page they know who I am. But there's no way I'd be able to know some of these motherfuckers, but they're popping up. You may know. How the fuck do you know I may know them? Because we happen to be in the same area, so you know where I'm at least. You're at least tracking where I be at, right? And you're tracking where they're at, because they're coming up, and I'm there, right? So no, you can't. Again, don't think about Let's go and get a scripture that I get frequently. Be not ignorant. This is Ecclesiasticus 5:15. It says, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small." Don't be stupid, man. Right? Don't think that they don't have that technology. Don't think that they're not doing that, because they're absolutely doing that. Now, a lot of y'all probably aren't scoffing at it, because at this point, a couple years ago, people did scoff at that, but now everybody unanimously knows, man. Oh, they listen. They're listening. Well, we were saying that years ago, and everybody, no, they're not. You're not so important. Why are they listening to you? To market to us, you fucking idiot. To market to us. All right, sure. They might not. Now with the brothers, that's a little bit differently. They're probably watching, us to see, what we're talking about. But regular people, no, they're probably not monitoring you just to spy on you. But they are spying on you to see where you go, to see how often you go to that bagel shop down the street. All right, to see, if they push this ad, they heard you talk, I like colognes and stuff like that. Then, they're going to push colognes more because they know you're more likely to buy them, right? And even that's all through an algorithm. I buy a lot of those, Middle Eastern fragrances on Amazon. So when I open up my Amazon, what's usually there? Middle Eastern fragrance. because they know, oh, he's bought it before. Push him some more of those Middle Eastern fragrances. See if he likes those. He'll buy some probably. And the odds are I probably will, right? So, and I actually like being advertised those because they help me find new ones. But if you talk about something you may or may not be interested in, don't be surprised when they start, recommending them because they heard you speak on it, or people you're around, or, and then, you go on Facebook, or here it is, there's a cashier at the local gas station, and you go there all the time, and now, they're popping up in your social media. Like, how the fuck? How would they? How? Because the phones are close in proximity. They know. They hear it. The conversations going back and forth. So again, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. Ecclesiasticus 5:15. Because a lot of people are just ignorant, man. They're ignorant. Oh, why would they do that? The amount of times I've heard, what makes you so special to be spied on? What you have a whole brigade out there watching you? Well, everybody has, it's probably not a physical person, but it's probably an algorithm through AI or something like that. Again, they've had this before. The technology was released to us, okay, and they still have better versions of it that we don't even know about. And they use that to advertise. See what we search, see what we talk about, see what we watch. All right, advertise things that they think we might want to watch, music we might want to hear, colognes or perfumes that we might want to wear, clothes that we might be interested in. They just heard, oh yeah, the little puppy, Lucky, I'll just call him Lucky or whatever, Daisy. This little puppy, we just got Daisy. She's a cute little puppy. But we need to go and get her a collar because we couldn't find a collar. You best know if you go to Amazon, they're going to be showing you dog collars. You never had a fucking dog. How are they going to know all of a sudden you need dog collars? Because they were listening. They heard, they probably do buzzwords, dog collar, right? Dog collar, this and that. And it'll probably, pop up. As a matter of fact, I want to check my phone right now and see if there's any fucking dog collar or anything weird that I've talked about during this that pops up. Let me go and open my Amazon. And if there is, I'll show it to you. A whole bunch of fragrances, but that doesn't really matter because I knew that was going to show up. But let's see. I got TikTok on my phone. I know for sure TikTok listens. They need to show me some videos about some dog collars. Cause man, I could sure use a dog collar. I'm really in the market for a dog collar. If I found a good deal on a dog collar, I'll probably buy it instantly. Let me go and open up TikTok. I want to go see if I can find some dog collars. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I know anything about dog collars. I could probably go to the shop and they'd probably show me some dog collars in the shop. Let's see. Let me see. It doesn't work all the time, but it works a good chunk of the time. I might need some time to update. Nothing. No dog collars yet. But, let's see. Scrolling a little bit more. Huh. No, but they are showing shit for dogs. Here, I'll show you. I don't even got it. Well, there's a dog in the house, but I don't own one. Here. Fucking right there at the top right. You see it. Or you can kind of see it right there. Right there, that one. There you go. Steam brush for cats and dogs. So, you see it. So, why would that ever, be of interest to me? Oh, I don't need one of those motherfuckers. Okay, but what I do need is a dog. Now watch. If you're watching this out loud, don't be surprised if your shit ends up fucking giving you dog collars. Don't be surprised. Because they heard me saying dog collar over and over and over again. Right? And you can try it. You can test it. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But sometimes it takes a couple days. You might say something in a couple days. They might show you some dog collars. All right? So if you talk about something like that over and over, don't be surprised in a couple days they start showing you that. But, Jeremiah 6 and 17. This is the type of stuff, the brothers and, been warning you about, but you never listened. The Lord sent prophets. You never listened. You don't want to listen until the shit gets going rough. And then that's when you want to listen. But Jeremiah 6 and 17, it says, also, I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken. All right. We don't want to hear. We don't want to hear it, Lord. Stop telling us that. We don't want to hear it. All right. That's you Jakes, man. Really, this truth is only for you Jakes. Jeremiah 25 and 4, it says, and the Lord hath sent unto you all his servants, the prophets. All right, we got the apostles on down that were sent, and you don't want to listen to them. Instead, you want to call them names. All right, you don't want to call you don't want to call him Apostle Hart. You want to call him by his government name because you found it out. All right, that's some disrespectful shit. Okay, and I've seen it happen. All right. I think Vocab Malone did that shit. Jeremiah 25 and 4, and the Lord has sent unto you all his servants the prophets, rising early and sending them. But ye have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear to hear. You didn't want to listen. Instead, you want to say, no, that shit ain't, no. You guys are bugged out. You think that they're really going to be listening to you and shutting vehicles down? Yeah, well, wait, just wait. No, don't listen to us. Sure, whatever. Fuck us, right? We ain't shit. We don't know nothing. That's true. Whatever. Cool. Yeah. Yep. You're right. It's true. Yep. We don't know none. But just wait. Just wait. Keep that same ideology, that same mindset. Just wait. And then you're going to say, oh, wait. Those guys said something about this. Nah, fuck you, man. Fuck you. We're not going to be making lessons at that time. Famine of the word. You're not going to be looking, trying to find someone that knows something about something. And you're not going to find anybody. Okay? The Lord's going to have us doing something. Lord willing, us. All right? Lord willing, part of the elect. All right, brothers and sisters as well. All right, we're gonna be somewhere else. All right, y'all motherfuckers be scattering around, look like roaches. Oh, where are they at? Where are they at? I didn't see them on the highways, and I don't see them on YouTube. Where? Well, because we disappeared. All right, Lord had us go somewhere, some instruction that wasn't given to you. You're over here fucking scuttling around, looking to try to find something. You're gonna open up the Bible and try to interpret it yourself, and you're not gonna get it. You're not going to understand. If anything, it'll make you more bugged out. All right? So, hey, man, fuck you. You're an asshole. So, and you didn't want to listen. All right? Like it says, nor inclined your ear to hear. You didn't want to listen, man. Deaf. And when it comes to the time where you really need to find out about something, when those cars start getting remote, deactivated. Wait, they said something about this. They were right. And that goes back into, blessed are your eyes, for they have not seen, yet they still believe, right? Let's go get that. I didn't believe y'all, all right, because you were saying it, but I didn't see nothing. But now that I'm seeing it, I do believe it. Well, look, man, we walk by faith, not by sight. Right, and this is dealing with Yahushua, but this is I'm using it in a way of speaking of that in a same like matter, like Yahushua, Yahushua speaks prophet, okay, and the men that teach, okay. When we bring these scriptures out, we're really speaking for Yahushua to the best of our ability. And if we stumble, it's just because we're men at the end of the day. We don't mean to slip up, but it's not that the Lord slipped up. We slipped up with our manly tongue, and we slip up and in speech but not in heart, as the scriptures say. All right, stumble in speech but not in heart. And so these it's the same way. You don't the Lord's prophecies are coming out of our mouth. They're not our prophecies, they're his prophecies. They're just coming out of our mouth because we've been commanded to teach. And and one of those things is that the Lord's words, if you're not going to believe him because you haven't seen any of any of these prophecies that he said. You're not in there. You can see some of them, but you're not seeing them because you're not spiritual. But we're going to be talking about them, through Yahweh Shai, and you're not going to believe them. But when they come to pass, now you're going to believe us. When you're not really believing us, you're believing Yahweh Shai, right? We're just telling you what he said. So when you say, I don't believe you, you don't believe me. You don't believe Yahweh Shai. That's what it is. If you're not believing me because I read the scripture to you, it's not that you're not believing me. It's that you're not believing the Lord. I didn't write John 20 and 29. All right? At least I don't think I did. Right? So I wasn't the one. I wasn't the one who wrote it. So if he said, I don't believe you on that scripture, well, I didn't write the scripture, right? I'm reading it. So if you don't believe the scripture, that means you don't believe Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Not that you don't believe me. John 20:29. Yahushai saith unto them, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed. All right, and again, going to that scripture, we walk by faith, not by sight. So it's better to, not have seen these things and believe that they're going to happen than now that you've seen them. All right, it's the same, like it's not the same situation that happened here in John 29. Of course, that was referring to, him seeing Yahushai, but in like matter, seeing the actions of the Lord. Okay, if Lord said, oh, I'm gonna do this, and you say, I don't believe it, and then it comes to pass, oh, I believe it now, I do believe it now. Well, no, it would have been better for you to believe before you saw it. If going off of faith, you only believe it because you saw it. Okay, you only believe it because you saw it. It's just like if everybody saw Yahushua, they'd believe in him because they saw him, but a lot of people don't believe in him because they haven't seen him, right? So of course, anybody that saw him, of course you're gonna believe because you actually physically saw him. But it takes faith, man. If I told you I could jump 15 feet up high, you wouldn't believe me. But until I did it, and then yeah, he can do it. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day because of course now you're gonna believe it because you've seen it. Anybody would believe if they see it. Ridiculous. So it's oh yeah, see, I believed all along. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Ecclesiastes 37:16. It says, "Let reason go before every enterprise, and counsel before every action." Now, I wanted to get this one for the simple fact that's all scripture. All scripture. Let's go and get that. All scripture. Here it is. 2 Timothy 3:16. All scripture is given by inspiration of Yahweh and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. All scripture. So sometimes we get scriptures that aren't necessarily in context, but they can be used as a thought-provoking piece, all right, to, provoke thought. And Ecclesiastes 37:16, when I saw this, I said, it really made me think. So let reason go before every enterprise. Okay, let it, it says, we'll go for 14. It says, for a man's mind is sometime wont to tell him more than 7 watchmen that sit above an high tower. And above all this, pray to the Most High that he will direct thy way in truth. Let reason go before every enterprise and counsel before every action. So what does this mean? Let reason go before every enterprise and counsel before every action. What is an enterprise? What does enterprise mean? Okay. Define. Okay. A project or undertaking. Okay. Something that's being done. Okay. Something that's being done. An activity. Okay. Something that you're doing. A venture. A mission. All right. An operation. An action. Okay. So before everything that you do, right, and counsel before every action. Let reason go before every enterprise and counsel before every action. So before you do something, you need to think. You need to reason. Okay? You need to counsel. Sometimes with other people, other brothers. All right? Most importantly, with Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Lord, please let me know if this is the right decision I'm making. So on and so forth. Various different ways and forms of prayer. And you need to, reason and think that, okay, should I do this? Is this smart? Is this a smart idea? So when you think about an EV, an electrical vehicle, you need to reason. Is it smart that I get something that can, steer itself and can be, taken control of in this way or that way? No, it's not really. It's not, you didn't really use reason. You didn't really use wisdom. You didn't really use your intelligence about, that, not that you have any, all right, before making that purchase. You just did it because it was a trend. And a lot of these people, every time I see somebody with a Tesla now, and this doesn't really go for you brothers and sisters that have Teslas. If you got a Tesla because you just wanted to get it, that's one thing. But hey, I wouldn't personally because, at least hopefully that those motherfuckers can be remotely deactivated. Most cars can then, though, at the end of the day. But I think Teslas just have, more, they can control them on a deeper scale, all right, because of their operating system. But even the other cars with a computer, they can probably be controlled in some way, shape, or form, just not as deep as a Tesla, regardless if that video is fake or not. But at least hopefully, Lord willing, you brothers and sisters know that hey, this this car, probably something could happen to it, but I don't know, man. It's just it ain't no shade to the brothers and sisters, but every time I see somebody that has a Tesla, I just think they follow trends too much. All right, the fucking dumbass trend got them. They just had to bandwagon. They had to get on the trend, and they just had to get the car because it was a trendy car to get at the moment. All right, it's just like Bass Pro Shop hat. Everybody wears a fucking Bass Pro Shop hat now. I remember when that came out in like 2020, 2019. People just wearing fucking Bass Pro Shop hat. And I asked one guy, I was like, is that a trend now? Bass Pro Shop hat? Yeah, it's a trend apparently. Everybody's wearing Bass Pro Shop hats. It's still a fucking thing. People are still wearing those motherfuckers. I would have thought it would fall off by now, but I guess people are still doing it. And it's just because of it's a trend, man. It's not that there's anything great about a Bass Pro Shop hat. They're cheap. They used to be cheap. I don't know what they are now. 10, 20 bucks or something, but who knows what they are now. But yeah, man. GMS Brothers been talking about this for years. Been talking about a lot of things for years, and nobody seems to believe it until it happens. And it really doesn't matter if you believe it when it's happened. All right, it would have been much better. To have the faith and when they're getting scriptures and reading about that, and you say, yeah, that is gonna happen. Then you see it happen. You know how much that boosts your faith. You know how much that's a big faith boost. You say, oh, call Allah Yahweh Meow Shai. Look, we knew it was gonna happen. We knew it was gonna happen. But you say, man, that's not going to happen. Then it happens. You're like, oh, see, yeah, it did happen, I guess. Okay. Doesn't really do anything for you. Just makes you look like an asshole. So that's the lesson. All right. The video could be fake. Video could be real. We don't know. But at the end of the day, they still have capacity to be able to do these types of things, regardless if that video is real or fake. So, and the GMS brothers have been talking about these type of things for years. But you probably didn't believe them. Oh, look at you knowing nothing. All right, over here thinking you know something. So yeah, man, we don't really care if you believe or don't believe about the things that are being said. Time and time again, prophecies are proven. All right, the Lord's work, all right, is getting done, and it's showing you the types of things that you people don't believe in. They're happening. All right, and then you want to believe when it's too late. So that's that, man. That's the lesson. All right, we're going to close out there. Lord willing, it was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Shem Yahweh Shai, Shem Wadash. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing. Shalom.